Brighton Beach Busking presents
Meg, Yaman, Timon, Alex, Ian, Paul. Welcome to
the Busking Break.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well.
The show where we interview your favourite Brighton Beach buskers, finding out the stories behind the musicians that sound our streets.
That bit of a day off today, so
This is probably quite the journey to become the musician you are today.
Make sure to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you do not miss an episode. So come with us and be part of this journey. Hello and welcome to Busking Break here at the Works Pier. Today we spoke with Yaman. It was an amazing conversation, really inspiring, so I hope you enjoy it. Cool. So Yaman, welcome to Busking Break.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Enjoying the sun, enjoying Brighton.
Yeah, lovely. So you've recently moved to Brighton, I hear?
Yeah, about a month and a half ago.
Oh, nice. How are you finding it?
Oh, it's lovely. Lovely place. Good music scene.
Uh-huh.
It's good seeing all the buskers about and talking to them, and they're all quite friendly.
Yeah. It's a good scene. Good
Yeah,
scene
it's
and a
lovely.
good community. So, Yaman, what is the story behind the name Yaman?
Well, Yaman is I play sitar, and it was the first raga I learned in India, in Varanasi.
Wow.
And it's the first teaching thing they'll teach you in sitar or even flute, bansuri, is the Yaman raga, and I just carried that on as my sort of like name. So Yaman's now my name.
It's stuck.
Yeah.
So you're a sitar player, you play the flute,
Yeah.
and like a more traditional Indian version of the flute. Has that got a name?
Bansuri.
Bansuri.
It's a bamboo.
Ah,
bamboo
cool.
flute.
Nice.
So it's Hindi is bansuri.
Bansuri. So this is probably quite the journey to become the musician you are today. How did this begin? Where did learning the sitar come from? The journey to going to India to learn it, to learn this?
Well, I played in Glasgow for many years, playing in bands and things like that, and then it was one day I just wanted to try travelling, and I went to India for the first time in 2000.
Okay.
And I ended up in a place called Varanasi, which has got a big musical culture, classical musical culture. And I wanted to live there for a wee while, and to live in Varanasi you need to learn some Sanskrit, yoga, or music. So I bought my first sitar and I started with my guru and started learning classical Indian music. I come back home to Glasgow, brought the sitar back but didn't take much interest in it. And I was in a band again in Glasgow, and as you do in bands, they split up. So once we split up in this band, I was like, right, I'm going back to Varanasi to learn this. So I'd go to Varanasi, I'd study for 5 months, then go down to Goa for a month as a wee holiday. So I'd do that 4 or 5 times. I did that and studying in Benares.
Wow. So what drew you to the sitar? What
Well,
was
I was a guitar player.
Okay.
So the coordination's the same. But it's hearing Ravi Shankar and the Beatles and stuff like that. So there's a wee connection there with the sitar with Western music. And so I could relate to it a bit more. Like the harmonium and singing and stuff like that, it's a wee bit difficult for me. Because it's another complete different genre and a different instrument.
What like when you were out there and you were learning this, what was like the teaching style? What would be like how did they, I mean, was it different to perhaps the way you learn an instrument here if you were to learn?
Yeah, well, they've got the notation is like sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, and they've got 22 notes to an octave.
Okay.
We've only 12, so they've got microtones.
Wow.
So the frets on the sitar move. So when you want to do a different raga from Yaman to Karwani, you need to move the frets.
Really?
So that's why you get this sort of mad noise,
Mm.
because they're actually slightly out of tune to the Western ear, because it's in between, let's say, D and D sharp. Well, Ray could be in between D and D sharp.
Wow.
So it's a microtone, so it sounds a wee bit, whoa, what's that noise? But you usually start by learning scales. And it's Yaman was the first scale I learned, which is a raga called Yaman, and you just keep on pricing the scales. Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, ba 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 ba. And then the teacher, your guru, will start to teach you a lap, which is the opening of the raga, which is kind of slow, and basically you're telling the audience, this is a raga I'm playing, so you hit the notes very gently and slow, and then it speeds up and speeds up before you know it's the tablets in, the sitar's going like that, everybody's doing that,
Wow.
So there's a big crescendo of an ending, if you know what I mean.
Wow.
So that's the basics of a raga, which can last for an hour and a half, just playing the same raga.
Wow.
So it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's
instrument.
really cool, really unique, especially here. It's not like on the streets of Brighton. There's not many.
No, well, I've not seen any, but I did see in the famous Brighton Beach Buskers, I did see one video of a guy, I can't remember his name now, but he was playing and it was a beautiful sitar sound, but I think that was many years ago.
Wow. So during this sort of journey of learning sitar and becoming the musician you are, where did busking come into the picture?
Well, it was mostly during COVID, as you could imagine. I lived in Manchester for 6 years and I was doing weddings and functions, and life was really, really good in that context, making good money and playing Hindi weddings, Indian weddings and mixed weddings. And then COVID kicked in, and before I knew it was just no work. And I was playing in restaurants as well, Vermilion and Sci Spice. So I'd play there on a Friday and a Saturday. So I could make a good living, or a living out of it. And then during COVID, it was just like nothing. Everything just fell. And which is really sad for musicians, you know what I mean, to keep alive, pay your rent, pay your bills. And so during the COVID, I was just sort of like, right, I need to start making some kind of move to somewhere else. So searching on the internet, and Brighton popped up, and this busking, and I was just like, wow, that's something I could do. I really enjoy busking because you can sit there and play a couple of hours. You get £1, you get £2, whatever. And people just move on, they'll stand and watch and enjoy what you're doing, but they don't hang about too long. They maybe hear 1, 2 tracks, 3 tracks, and then they've got something else to go into. And so it's really good, sort of, your audience is rotating. So that's kind of interesting as well, so you're sitting there with the same people for an hour, 2 hours. So busking's got a unique way of playing, you know what I mean? And I mean, you hear £1 get into that wee bucket, you're like, brilliant.
Yeah.
Here we go. Come on. Give me another £1.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Getting energy from it.
yeah, and it's good to make some cash after the COVID. You know what I mean? So it's handy.
That's really cool. So you didn't actually bust till you came here?
I bust many years ago in Amsterdam.
Okay.
Many years ago, I was living over there and I tried it. And I only lived in Amsterdam for about 3 months, so I did try it, but Glasgow and Manchester, there's not really a place to bust there. It's not got that kind of scene, if you know what I mean, where Brighton is very open to music and a big music scene here, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And there's some place I would like to maybe actually live and move down for on a permanent basis.
Well, here in Brighton?
Yeah, I would love to. Get the beach, beautiful people. And I'd call them tourists if you want. You come in at the weekends, they're all enjoying themselves, so everybody's got a smile on their face. And I do think they appreciate the music that's happening.
For sure.
Because they're walking about going, this is great. Free music everywhere I go.
It's really cool you've got that perspective on it as like, coming. I think some people that have lived here for a long time might maybe lose that a little bit. So to have that fresh eyes is really cool. So, what was it like when you decided to sort of first busk? What like, how did that experience go to like where you like now busk?
Yeah, it's a bit nerve-wracking, because you don't know how it's got to go. It's not like a gig or a wedding where people are... I mean, the raga and the Indian music, I don't think it's loved by everybody. A lot of people don't understand it. So I do mix in fusion there. No, I mean, I do play like Bob Marley and the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. But it was a wee bit nerve-wracking at first, and finding out the zones, how to fit in someplace and don't take somebody's spot. Well, I know it's somebody's spot, they don't own it, but how to be sort of more aware of your surroundings and the other musicians, because they're trying to make it some money as well. No, I mean, they have to survive. We all have to survive.
Of course. So, who you mentioned the Beatles and various people who've like incorporated more of like an Indian sound. Who's like your music idols or inspirations?
In the Western world, it'd be David Bowie.
Oh yeah.
But in Asian sitar playing, Hari Prasad is one of the most famous Bansuri players.
Okay.
And obviously there's Ravi Shankar, Valad Khan, and there's many sitar players, Anushka Shankar. They're actually doing more Western fusion as well now. So even the classical sitar players and are actually moving into a Western idea to mix it all up, which is more bringing in the Western community.
Yeah. It's like a very cool thing to fuse the two, because it is, you know, like you say, some people aren't even really aware of what you're doing. As a guitar player, I understand that, you know, what you're playing is, like, even though you say it's the same
coordination.
Yeah, but it's very different. Like, you're learning a 22 note
scale.
Octave, and that's crazy. So it's definitely, as a musician, I can really appreciate it. Do you think, so your experience busking here in Brighton, do you think that there is maybe something that maybe Brighton and Hove Council could help with, or have you experienced anything that you think, or you've seen in other places that you think we could implement a bit here?
The council and I think more the government can actually help, because I think we should be subsidised. I mean, we are entertainers, and we need to entertain this world, because we're in a dark place now with COVID, a war, and I think we need to put out music. It's the most important language we have in this world, because you could be French and you can't speak English, but you know what an A is, or you could be in any place on this planet, but music is the best language we have to communicate and to improve life and improve social being. So music has to be rejoiced, but musicians have to be paid. So if I go out and I make anything between £20 to £100 busking, and a right good day, £100 busking, but not that often. But if I was making 20, but to pay my bills and survive, food, electricity, blah blah blah, I think it'd be good for the government to subsidise musicians and say, right, you're a musician, how much do you make? Well, I make this amount. You can see how much I make. But I need this amount to pay my bills. I need this amount to live, to feed myself. And the only way to keep music alive is we need help. And it would be great for the government to subsidise us somewhere along the line.
I mean, I completely agree with you. It's such a fundamental part to just life in general. And without it...
we'll be walking about with sad faces. At least when you do your busking and you're playing music and you've got a smile on your face and you're happy, that projects to the audience. So if they're walking about, especially the wee kids, there's nothing better than a wee kid coming up and their dad gives them £1 to give to you. So that communication for that wee kid goes, charity is good.
Yeah.
Charity music is good.
Yeah.
And that kid's learning every day. But if there was nothing there to be entertained, people would just be walking, seeing the lovely sea, having a lovely sun, but nothing to entertain the journey. So, and it's a good education. Music's the best language we have. It's the best.
So well said. So well said. So when you've been busking here in Brighton, have you got any sort of like story, like a significant moment or something wild that happened, good or bad?
Well, not big stories, but it's just the faces. It's actually like, as I was talking about the kids and the parents standing watching, he'll know the song or he'll get the idea of the sitar, and the kids just look at you and go like, what are you doing? And you're like, wah, yeah. And they just look at you and they look at their parents and they're like, it's good, isn't it? It's good. And then you see him giving them a pound and they walk up and they've got a wee smile on their face going, there you go. And I usually go, thank you. And they're like, thank you. And that makes my day. I mean, even if I was making £10 that day and busking hard for 3 hours, just seeing their faces. I can walk home, get something to eat, chill out and go, nah, remember that. It was a good communication. And it was music, it was doing them communication.
Yeah.
Whether you're playing guitar, flute, and drums, that vibe has to prosper.
That's so cool. So, as if a viewer was watching this and they were thinking about maybe busking, or in your case, maybe even learning a different instrument, a unique instrument to this, like where we live, what would a word of advice be?
Just keep doing it and love it.
Yeah.
And I think most musicians anyway, once they get over the first stage of learning an instrument, because it can be hard and you just need patience and keep doing it every day, and one day you'll wake up and you go, I can do that, I can actually do this. And it just takes time, but it's a love for it. I mean, if I don't play, I get anxiety. So at the end of the day or the end of the week and I've not played anything, I am not in a good place. My head's not in a good place and my reaction to other people is not good. But if I'm playing 2, 3, 4 times a week, I'm bouncing along the street. So that communication carries on to everybody.
It's like actually a mental well-being.
Yes, well, we're queuing up to the doctors to get happy pills. You know what I mean? We're like, help. I need help and stress and anxiety, and before you know it, life's not happening. But with music in your life, it's happening, and it does work.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Yaman. Where can viewers find your stuff? Have you got any sort of links or anything you'd want to promote?
Well, I've got a Facebook page. Cool. It's Yaman Sitar.
Cool.
And I've got a YouTube page. It's Yaman Sitar. Just put in Yaman Sitar. Cool. And I'm available for weddings, functions, chill out music, or if you want a wee bit of Billie Jean or a wee bit of David Bowie, I'm your man.
Awesome.
On the sitar.
Spot on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Busking Break here on the Brighton Beach Busking YouTube channel. If you haven't already, then please click subscribe, like this video, and hit the notifications bell so you know when videos have been posted. Go and check out our busking guests. All their links are in the description. I have been your host, August Radio Project. If you're a musician, creative, and you like challenges, or you need some tips and tricks, then go and check out my YouTube channel, also linked in the description. Thank you to Works for welcoming us to the Works Pier and believing in the project. If you're a creative looking for workspace in Brighton, contact Works through the details in the description. They offer co-working, craft space, sound studios, offices, meeting rooms, and more. Also, thank you to Mug Time for the wonderful mugs. You can find the link to their Amazon shop in the description below. And thank you to you for watching the Busking Break. And I'm sure I will see you in the next one. Thank you.